Well guys, I am just in the dealership on my day off. This afternoon I've come out and I'm in the waiting area because they're having a look at those back doors to see why they won't open. But what I wanted to talk to you today about was employees. And if you haven't watched my 2018 strategy video, have a look at it now, because I'm actually changing my strategy for this year. So last year I had a few employees nearly doing full-time work, the very odd week part-time, but mainly full-time hours, and just the profitability wasn't there. And I think, like everything, is a learning time. And I think what I learned is just how expensive it is to run people. So if you think of their wage, there's probably nearly half again between holiday pay, government charges, a bit of uniform every now and again and stuff like that. So if you think of a rate for a day, you know, if it's £70 or €100 or whatever it is, that could be 150. And then there's other obligations to them that you have for their welfare, for their training, if you have to send them away on courses, holiday pay if they go away for a couple of weeks. You have to pay them their full week for those weeks, even if they're not there. Like, you can really see the advantage of just having a subcontractor, but at the same time you can get into trouble with it just having a subcontractor if they work solely just for you. If they have their own stuff, you're all right, but if they work solely for you, well then there's a good chance that if you are audited, that the government would come back and say, no, we want employers' tax on all of their hours. So that kind of that would be awful if you had to back pay that stuff. So it's just about being smart. Like, I suppose it's very easy to get comfortable with employees, bringing them on days that you only make the extra of their wages and costs, and maybe a tiny bit of profit. Or even worse, if you send them out for a day in the van, that minus the VAT, minus the diesel, minus the cost of the water, supplies, second system, minus all of that from it, and you need to be making huge profit. Say, for you guys in England, say it was £200 the guy made in the day by going out by himself, minus his wage for the day and holiday pay and stuff like that, call that £120, £130, minus a bit of diesel, 150. If you do the organising, well then what's the cost of your time for organising his day? If you, like me, if you have somebody doing a few hours in an office, well then that is maybe another £20. So put that onto that day, and you're from 150 to maybe 170. The cost of fittings and water and stuff like that. So if they're going out for a £200 day, that's not, even if you're VAT registered. If you're VAT registered, that completely blows that out the water. But if they're not VAT registered, a £200 day is zero or a loss. So it's just working out, like, what days is it worth bringing them out on. Like, you might get more work done, but then the more work that you get done, then there's the more admin there is for collecting and stuff like that. But that's why you have to work out all of those costs to see, is it worthwhile. Now, on some commercial work where you get paid really well because of maybe insurance and training certs and, you know, winning the tender process and all that sort of stuff, it can work out. Or even if you've got other jobs that are needing two people for safety reasons, for footing of a ladder or whatever there is, for guiding of traffic, that you do, so a second person is handy, or a third person. And on some commercial work that pays really well, it is worth having the person there. However, you have to work out if it's worthwhile, because we went through a year last year of loads of turnover, but the costs that come with it, even down to silly things like the accountant does our wage slips and our payroll. So how much does that cost per employee per year? If they've gone out on a commercial job even and have done the day, if that takes 30 or 60 days to come in, you have to wait for that to come in, versus the person still needs paying on a Friday. So So you really just have to do the maths and see, is it worthwhile? The work that I have, domestic work, I see, unless it's priced really well, unless they're close together and you knock them out really quick, I fail to see how much profitability there is in having somebody with you. It makes it easier, yes. It takes less of the reliance on you. It's less physical on you. There's other benefits that aren't monetary, but if we're talking monetary benefits, I really don't think that there is a massive benefit. On the commercial, definitely, but on the private, I'm just not so sure.